In this video, we're going to look at hinges and how we can find the forces on hinges. At a hinge, there will be a reaction R acting at the hinge at some angle theta to the horizontal or vertical. This single force can be split into horizontal components X and a vertical component Y, which can make equating the forces in an equilibrium situation easier. So we're going to look at two different ways that we can do this. You can imagine here you've got a hinge, and it really is a force acting R here, acting at some angle theta, but you could break that up and make it into a vertical component and a horizontal component. It might make it easier to do that. So we're going to show in an example here two methods to do this. So why, first of all, it is acting at this angle. There's a certain amount of force is holding it up, and then there's a certain amount of force is pushing away from the wall where the hinge is acting. So that's why the force is acting at some sort of angle. Do it whatever way the question asks you. If it does ask you a certain way, make sure you do it that way. If not, then you can make a decision yourself. Okay. Note it says here, freely hinged is a well-oiled and therefore there's no friction. So that's one of the assumptions. I've said any assumptions you make, you'd say there's no friction in the hinge. So this example, it says, a uniform rod of mass 6 kilograms and length 4 meters is hinged freely to a vertical wall. The force P applied at B, as shown in the diagram, keeps the rod horizontal and in equilibrium. R is the force of the reaction at the hinge, and theta is the angle that the line of action of this force makes with the vertical. Okay, it's sometimes going to be vertical, as it is here. It also could be the horizontal, so you just go with whatever they have done in the question. Find the magnitude of the forces P and R and the angle theta. Okay, there's going to be two methods we're going to use here to do this. One method I'm going to use is I'm going to leave the diagram as it is. The next method then, what I'm going to do is change my diagram a little bit and make it into X and Y, and then find my R and my theta. You will have a personal preference, but you do need to know how to do both of these, as it could well ask you to do it a particular way. So method one, this is my preferred method, I must say. So I've just drawn my diagram again here. And then first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take moments about A. So if I take moments about A, what that does, it eliminates the force through A, basically, because it's acting through A, so it has no impact through A. Now, do we know the length of this thing? Length 4 meters. So that's going to be 2 meters, because it's uniform, and 2 meters. And then clockwise, your clockwise force is going to be, so this is just clockwise equals anti-clockwise. So clockwise is going to be 6g times 2. That's nice and easy, nice easy start. And anti-clockwise is going to be this one going up this direction. So I should have put in a wee dash line there. So to pull that P up that direction, it's going to be P sine 30. And then that is times 4. So a little bit of working out then. My 6g times 2 divided by 4 times sine 30 is going to be equal to P. And I have got this done out somewhere. That is going to be 58.8 newtons. 58.8 newtons. I really should do that a wee bit more, a few more dPs, because I'll be using that in a wee second. Let me just check that. Sorry, 6 times 9.8 times 2, and then divided by 4 and divided by my sine 30. That's maybe exact actually anyway. Yep, it is. 58.8 is exact. Sorry, I should have done it myself. Okay, so we've taken moments. The only other things you can do, you could resolve vertically and you can resolve horizontally. So we're just going to do that. I'll do that over here. Resolving vertically, I'm going to have R cos theta. R cos theta equals, and then R cos theta, and also we've got P sine 30, and that's going to be equal to 6g. We'll tidy that up a wee bit, and that means R cos theta, make R cos theta the subject, is going to be the 6g. So 6g minus the 58.8, that was our P, remember, sine 30. So I'm going to get a value for my R cos theta. So 6 times 9.8, then minus 58.8 times my sine 30. And what that works out to be is 29.4. So I've got that, call that equation 1. And this is a lovely wee technique Next thing we're going to do is resolve horizontally. Let's go back up to my diagram here. Resolving horizontally, r sine theta is just going to be equal to p cos 30. So let's just do that then. That's going to be r sine theta is equal to 58.8 times cos 30. So 58.8 times cos of 30, and see what we get for that. And we get, sorry, I forgot to write my cos 30. My r sine theta then is equal to 50.9222 and 9. I will just leave it as that, 5 dp. Okay, it goes on a wee bit more, but that's enough accuracy. Right, now what you've got equation 1, and you've got your equation 2 now as well. Now what you can do here is a lovely little trick. Just write down your r sine theta over r cos theta. So that means the 50.9229 all over 29.4. And what happens here, these r's cancel, and sine divided by cos, we should know, is just tan. And then that is just going to be, that's going to get your tan. So your tan's going to be equal to this thing, whatever that was, 1.732, whatever. And then my theta works out to be 59.99999, ... Had we done that really accurately, that clearly would have been 60 degrees, but 60.0 then to 3 sig figs. And then to find your theta, I've just put it into my sine one here. I'm going to just sub into equation 2. Well, that means r sine 60 is equal to whatever it was. Why would I put it into that one? Put it into the nice one. Put it into my equation 1. Which was r cos 60 then is equal to 29.4. And then a little bit of working out, my r works out to be 58.8 newtons, and that's the 3 sig figs. Okay, so this wee technique here, very important, and that comes up in a number of different types of questions. You probably remember that technique coming up at AS level mathematics as well, but it is a very useful wee thing. Okay, next one is whenever we change our diagram a little bit, and we're going to change this r at an angle. I'm going to think about it as being x, certain amount of x, and a certain amount of y. So again, so first thing we're going to do is take moments about a. So just as we had done up above, that hasn't changed. So you're going to have 4p sine 30 is just equal to 2 times 6g, as we had done earlier on, and you got your 58.8 newtons. So just rush through that there. And then we're going to resolve horizontally. Resolving horizontally, x is just going to be equal to p cos 30. So our x works out to be 50.92229. Resolve vertically, your y plus, I made the same mistake as I made earlier on, y plus p sine 30 equals 6g. A little bit of working out then, y is equal to 6 times 9.8 minus 58.8 sine 30. So my y works out to be 29.4. And then we can redraw our diagram. So our diagram, R is the single force which replaces that X, which we had up above, which was 50.9229. And my Y, remember, which we just done, is 29.4. And then we can find R by Pythagoras, and you can find your theta by just trig. So R is equal to 50.92229 squared plus 29.4 squared. Work that out, and your R works out to be 58.8 newtons to 3 sig figs. And likewise, your tan is just going to be equal to the opposite, 29.4 divided by the adjacent. And again, a wee bit of working out, and you get your theta is 60.0 degrees to 3 sig figs. And that's it done. So your two methods then are consider just as R acting at an angle theta, and then or else change it into two component form. But there we go.